Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that truly affects every single one of us. Whether you're just starting your career, are right in the middle of it, or are beginning to think about retirement. The topic of pensions concerns us all. That's why today we're talking about a legislative bill in Germany that's causing a lot of discussion. The bill to stabilize the pension level and to fully equalize child rearing periods. Now, that might sound like a lot of bureaucracy and complicated legal jargon, but don't worry. I'm going to break it all down for you today and explain exactly what this means for you, why it's important, and what impact it could have on all of our futures. So, lean back, maybe grab a coffee or tea, and let's dive into this incredibly important topic together. Before we really get started, a quick bit of context. In Germany, we live in a system called the pay-as-you-go system. This means that the people working today pay for the pensions of those already in retirement with their pension contributions. It's a sort of generational contract. The younger generation provides for the older generation, and later, when the young become old, the next generation will provide for them. Sounds fair, right? But here's the problem. We have an aging society in Germany. This means fewer children are being born, while at the same time, people are living longer. Which is great in itself. But for our pension system, it means there are fewer people paying in and more people drawing a pension, and for a longer period of time. That's the major challenge we're facing. Now, you might be asking, what exactly is this pension level everyone's talking about? Simply put, the pension level is the ratio between the average pension and the average income of all insured individuals. It shows what percentage of the average salary one receives as a pension. Currently, the pension level is about 48%. This means if someone earned an average salary their entire life, they'll receive a pension in retirement that's about 48% of the average income. And this is where it gets critical because this level has been falling in recent years, and without countermeasures, it would continue to fall. This would mean that more and more retirees wouldn't have enough money to live on in their old age. Old age poverty is a real problem affecting more and more people. This is exactly where the bill to stabilize the pension level comes in. The idea is not to let the pension level fall any further, but to stabilize it. Politicians want to prevent pensions from continuing to decline relative to wages. That sounds logical and good at first, but how is it supposed to work? There are various approaches. One could increase pension contributions, meaning employees and employers would have to pay more into the pension fund. Or the retirement age could be raised further, so people work longer and receive their pension later. Or other financing methods could be found through tax revenues. Each of these solutions has its pros and cons, and that's exactly what's being heavily debated right now. Higher pension contributions mean less net income for employees. Not everyone can afford that, especially in times when the cost of living is already rising. A higher retirement age sounds like a punishment to many people, especially those in physically demanding jobs who can't keep working until they're 67 or even longer. And tax financing means that money will be missing elsewhere for education, infrastructure, or other important areas. You see, it's a complex problem with no easy solution. But the important thing is that something is being done at all, because doing nothing is not an option. That would mean future generations of retirees would truly fall into poverty. Now, let's get to the second major point of the bill: the full equalization of child-rearing periods. And this is a topic that particularly affects many women, but really it concerns us all because it's about families, about children, and about fairness in the pension system. Currently, parents who have born and raised children receive pension points for it. This is called child-rearing periods. For children born after 1992, parents get up to 3 years of pension points. For children born before that, they get less. This leads to unequal treatment, and that's exactly what is now supposed to be abolished. Why is this so important? Because it's mainly women who interrupt or even give up their careers to raise children. They then work part-time or not at all for years, earning less and paying less into the pension fund. This leads to women having significantly lower pensions on average than men. This phenomenon is called the gender pension gap, and in Germany, it's alarmingly high. On average, women receive about 46% less pension than men. This is a huge injustice that urgently needs to be addressed. The equalization of child-rearing periods would mean that mothers who had their children before 1992 would also receive the full pension points. This would benefit about 4 to 5 million women. These are women who are often now in retirement, struggling with very low pensions. Women who worked hard their whole lives, took care of their families, and now face financial worries in their old age. For these women, this equalization would be an enormous relief and also a form of recognition for the work they've done. But here too, the question arises: who's going to pay for it? The full equalization of child-rearing periods would cost several billion euros annually. That's a lot of money, and it has to come from somewhere. Again, we face the question: higher contributions, tax subsidies, or other savings. It's a political decision that needs to be made, balancing various interests. But from the perspective of justice and equality, it's hard to argue why women who had children before 1992 should be worse off than women who had children after. Let's see what experts say about this bill. The opinions are actually quite divided. Social associations and women's organizations largely welcome the draft. They see it as an important step towards more justice in the pension system, but they argue that stabilizing the pension level is necessary to prevent old age poverty and that the equalization of child-rearing periods is long overdue. From their perspective, this is about fundamental questions of social justice and dignity in old age. Business associations and employer organizations, on the other hand, are often more skeptical. They warn of excessive costs and an overburdening of the social systems. They fear that higher pension contributions could burden the economy and endanger jobs. Their perspective is that the pension system must be sustainably financed, and that you can't promise more than is affordable in the long term. They often call for alternative solutions, like stronger promotion of private retirement savings. So, what does this mean for you specifically? Of course, that depends on what stage of life you're in. If you're still young and just starting your career, the topic of pensions might seem far away, but it actually affects you directly because the decisions made today will determine how much pension you'll receive when you retire in 40 or 50 years. The sooner you engage with it, the better you can prepare. If you're in the middle of your life, perhaps with children, the point about child-rearing periods is especially relevant to you. If you've reduced your working hours to care for your children, you should know exactly how that affects your pension entitlements and whether you would benefit from this bill. It's worth doing the math and, if necessary, saving privately as well. If you're already closer to retirement age or are already retired, the equalization of child-rearing periods could have a direct financial impact on you. If you had children before 1992, you should check if and how much more pension you would receive. It could very well be a few €100 a month, and for many retirees that's a noticeable difference. Regardless of age, we should all be aware that the topic of pensions is a societal challenge that we can only solve together. It's about solidarity between generations, justice between genders, and the question of what kind of society we want to be. Do we want a society where people can live with dignity in old age, or do we accept that more and more elderly people will live in poverty? These are fundamental questions we need to ask ourselves. One important aspect we shouldn't forget is that pensions aren't just about money. They're about quality of life in old age, the ability to participate in social life, and health because financial worries make you sick. It's also about recognizing the life's work someone has accomplished. People who have worked their whole lives, raised children, paid taxes, they have a right not to live in poverty in their old age. That's a matter of respect and human dignity. So, to wrap up the most important points, the bill aims to stabilize the pension level to prevent pensions from falling further relative to wages. This is intended to prevent old age poverty. Second, it aims to achieve equality in child-rearing periods, so that mothers who had children before 1992 also receive full pension points. Both are important steps for more justice in the pension system. At the same time, big questions remain unanswered. How will this be financed? Are these measures enough, or do we need more fundamental reforms? How do we deal with the demographic challenge? These are questions we as a society need to find answers to, and soon, because the longer we wait, the harder it will be. I hope this video has helped you understand the topic better, and maybe even sparked your interest to look into it more yourself. Check out the website of the German pension insurance. There, you can review your pension entitlements and calculate how different scenarios would play out. Inform yourselves about the positions of different political parties and organizations on this topic, and form your own opinion. If you liked this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Feel free to share the video with friends and family, because this topic really concerns everyone, and the more people who know about it, the better. Also, let me know in the comments what you think of the bill, what questions you still have, and how you see the future of pensions. I read all the comments and am happy to reply. Remember, your future, your pension, you can help shape it by staying informed, saving where you can, and getting involved politically. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. I wish you all the best, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay curious.